The reason why I think women are starting businesses when they're on maternity leave, I think it's such a great time in a woman's life. I thoroughly enjoyed being pregnant, and after having the child, it's such a happy occasion, and you tend to be more relaxed. And I think when you're happy and you're relaxed, the ideas come to you. So to me, it's not surprising that women are inspired. When you're relaxed and you're doing what you want to do and you have a passion for doing what you want to do, I think that's often when the inspiration comes.
When children come into the mix, a lot of mothers here, you'll know, things get complicated. They get very expensive as well. The guilt comes in. Maybe you're not spending as much time as you wish you could spend with your children. You don't need to go through all of that. Have a plan B that you're building up gradually. Start as soon as you've done that pregnancy test and it says positive. I'm sorry, don't wait until, you're coming to the 6th month of your maternity leave and then you're panicking because, nursery fees are high, you're only going to have £10 at the end of the week and all of that. You don't.
I think from what I see in my surroundings, more and more women are starting their own business, specifically after they have children, to find a better balance, a balance that they can be in control of, to be able to raise their children the way they want to raise them, as well as inspiring their children and doing all the things that they enjoy. I mean, that is from what I see around me.
Many people think they can't start a business without having thousands and tens of thousands of pounds. It's not really like that. Obviously, it depends, like you said, on what the business is. If it's a product, for example, where you definitely need that investment, I mean, there's always Dragon's Den if you're feeling brave enough, but you don't need to get thousands and thousands of pounds. A website doesn't cost thousands. You know, you can set up a website for less than £50 if you know how. If you don't, go on motherswhowork.co.uk, there's lots of stuff on there. And start small and build up gradually. You know, I don't think it's always a good idea to start a business off with so much debt anyway. You know, you need to test the business, so have a proof of concept. Start with a smaller fraction of collateral of money, and then, you know, look for investment when you can prove that actually this business has got returns, this business is working, I only need this amount more so that I can take it on to the next level.
I actually think while you're pregnant, while you're on maternity, is actually the best time to start a business. So the reason is because they're really intelligent, because they're smart. Because there's no other, I mean, the way that the rat race has got people working right now, there is no other way you're going to have long enough to even be able to think about your business idea any other way. You're not going to be able to take a 6-month sabbatical from any job, you know. So whilst you're pregnant, and also whilst women are pregnant, there's a lot more thinking that goes on. There's a lot more depth. You know, in that little piece of time, that's probably the best and most likely time any woman really does have to look out for herself professionally, and also to train. A lot of women may not start businesses, but I know a lot of women that do train during that period of time. They'll take on short courses. So yeah, I think that's a very good time, maternity. I mean, once the baby's there, it becomes a bit more hard to control, because obviously you've got a whole new responsibility. But most women I know have realised that actually it's easier to work for yourself and have a child than it is to work for someone else and have a child, because the guilt factor isn't there. And so even though your business develops a lot slower than everything would do when you were at work, you don't feel guilty, and you just feel happier, and you pass that on to your child, and it works better.
When you're looking at growing your business on and offline, the tip that I'd recommend to everybody is look at your branding. So the starting point will be your branding. And when you're thinking about branding as a small business, owner, you are your brand. So you're not a big corporate like Coca-Cola or Virgin or any other of the big brands. It's you as your own person. You're portraying that in your brand. So your brand is you. Start off with your values. Start off with why you went into the business, and then what is your differentiation in terms of your products and services, and what your strategy is, and use all of those strands to bring into your personal branding. Think about, the colors and the imagery you want to portray, and come up with a brand. When you've got the branding, you then have to replicate that across all the different areas of your profile online, so that there's consistency. And then you think about what kind of voice you want to have online, and you use that. And then people get used to the actual brand. But start off with you, is what I would say.
Make sure all your brands look the same, so people are thinking, well, is that you? Is that you? Everything, like if you follow the British Blacklist on the Twitter, the Facebook, there's some sort of, and the website itself, there's some sort of similarity. The brand stands out, and everyone knows that this is where I am. So you have to be consistent.
You need to integrate whatever you're doing offline with online. So, for example, if I go to a networking event and I get somebody's business card, I immediately ask them if they're on LinkedIn, and if they are, then when I go back, I connect with them on LinkedIn. So that way you're integrating offline with your networking online as well.
You're online and your online activities working for you. It means that you can reach more of the local people and people outside of your locality, your town or city of operation. It's a good idea to do both. You can have a shop selling hair, Brazilian, whatever, but then if you're online, even if it's a Facebook shop, a Facebook store, you're reaching more people, you're creating a greater awareness of your business. So I think even if your business is offline, you should have some online presence anyway.
I think that things like smartphones and tablets have made technology more accessible, and less intimidating, and it's a bit friendlier, and it's almost become sexy to use technology now, your apps and your Facebook and your Twitter, you know, even though, you know, that is a type of technology as well, you know, this is technology. You know, I'm comfortable picking this up and doing 1,000,001 things while I'm cooking dinner, changing nappies, I'm using, you know, reading BBC News, you know, and it's, I think, you know, 10 years ago that wouldn't have been the case, but I think smartphones have just made technology more accessible.
We have discussed a wide array of topics looking at women in STEM and women running their own technology company. What is important is that we go back to the beginning and look at the issues around those who are not studying and are not being supported to work in the IT and technology sector. We need to ensure that technology remains on the agenda throughout primary, secondary, higher and further education. It is important that our tutors are supported and that we have adequate career service advice for those who are thinking about their career options and want to know what are the best routes into the sector. I think it's important that we do not divide the genders and that both male and female students are encouraged to pursue a career in a competitive industry that is lacking women. I would like to see more mentors for young pupils so that they know what options are available to them as they progress their career and their studies. And I'd like to see more women who work in technology coming out and being role models and letting other people learn how they got there, what were the routes into the industry, and more importantly, how we continue to inspire others and ensure that future generations are well equipped for the technology boom. There should be mentoring schemes available to tech entrepreneurs. We have Tech City in London and throughout many of the major cities around the world. And in order to sustain your business, particularly if you're self-employed or a freelancer, you need someone to bounce off of. And I believe that this is something that should be supported centrally. It would help if there were more grants or loans available for women that are running a tech company, particularly those who are starting up. They need to know where to go, how to get that support, and more importantly, know where and how they can get long-term sustainability. Women consistently report that they have very few ordinary role models available. Our focus group was trying to address that, and as you saw, we had a room full of women who are passionate about technology and who understand the importance of being able to share and pass on the trends. Many women have spoke about juggling a career and some form of work-life balance whilst having a family. This has been a major factor in many women going out and deciding to run their own full-time business.